the summer reading slump and what school officials are doing to combat it. Also, the sad statistics of suicide are making us take notice. The return of Radio Bach, and a look at the man who leads the Kansas City Fire Department Emergency Rescue Team, all coming up next on The Local Show.
Principal funding for The Local Show provided by Francis Family Foundation, Frederick and Louise Hartwig Family Fund, Kaufman Foundation, Healthcare Foundation of Greater Kansas City, Johnson County Community College, John and Effie Spees Memorial Trust, Bank of America trustee, Richard J. Stern Foundation for the Arts, Commerce Bank trustee, and KCPT members. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Randy Mason. Welcome to another edition of The Local Show. About a month ago, we saw a number from the CDC that was startling. Suicides among baby boomers, especially men, had increased 40% in the last 10 years. In 2008, suicides really spiked. The Great Recession, mental health experts theorized, was proving too much for boomers accustomed to a successful and prosperous life. What's more, as KCPT special correspondent Sam Zeff discovered, the rate of suicide was climbing even faster in Johnson County.
Since this is a story about suicide, you might expect it to start with someone saying this.
Our mom, we knew she loved us, and that's an important, amazing thing, and that's what she gave to everybody. But she struggled and struggled and struggled and struggled with depression.
Or maybe this.
He could talk you into anything, and I wish he had talked himself into wanting to live.
But for this story on suicide, we're going to start here.
I mean, the economy was doing well. People were out and had a feeling that everything was going to be okay. A sense of, hey, we're in good times.
This is a story about how the good times ended and suicides in our most affluent communities took off like a rocket.
And then all of a sudden you have that downturn in 2008, and the economy begins to go into a recession or even a depression. It really changed things around abruptly.
The Centers for Disease Control just a few weeks ago reported something alarming. Suicides in the U.S. were up 28% in the last decade and up 40% among white men over 40. The Great Recession cost people their jobs, their homes, and their retirement. Now, mental health experts believe it was literally killing them. And if suicides were growing rapidly among baby boomers across the country, they were growing even faster here in the poster boy of affluence, Johnson County.
When the economy kind of dropped out, people my age that had a pretty nice life, and all of a sudden, they lost their job or they lost their house, and they lost that was their identity. And, a lot of them felt like they couldn't go on.
For years, the unemployment rate and number of suicides in Johnson County remained pretty steady. But then in 2007 and 2008, suicides go up. While this is before the Great Recession, it does track with two massive layoffs at Sprint, for years the county's largest employer. And then, in 2009, the economy goes to hell. Unemployment in Johnson County soars to 6.8%, and suicides follow, 68 in 2009, 80 in 2010, and 65 in 2011. Between 2006 and 2010, suicides went up 70%.
Suicide is not about dying. It's about stopping the pain.
Bill Art is on the crisis team at the Johnson County Mental Health Center. He says he could see the rise in suicides coming.
Anybody, I think, that has been successful in their life could get to that point where, hey, this isn't working anymore. And I'm not allowed to do this anymore because I can't provide a living for my family or my household.
So in this building on Lamar, where most people come only to get their driver's license or car tags, counselors and mental health professionals took part in a CDC-sponsored event last month to try to come up with a national strategy to prevent suicides. Sitting in the front row was Bonnie Swade from Overland Park.
I had the pillow done a couple years, 2 or 3 years after he died. I had put the pillow, and she made it so that you could put your hands in it, in the pockets, and hold it. Oh, that's kind of nice too.
Her son took his own life when he was 31. Now she and her husband run a suicide awareness survivor support group out of their home.
We have several people in our group that still don't want to admit that their loved one died by suicide. They'll say they died by a heart attack or they had an accidental overdose. So not everybody, even family, is willing to talk about the reality of what happened in their family. They're embarrassed. There's a stigma attached to it.
The stigma. That's the first thing professionals say that has to go.
Treating suicide risk, reducing suicide risk, is not about treating depression or anxiety or bipolar. But if you don't create safety at the get-go, you're going to lose people, literally lose them to suicide.
Marcia Epstein runs Headquarters House in Lawrence. They have a federal grant to train people all over Kansas to recognize the signs that someone may be suicidal. And here's something that's almost impossible to believe. Psychologists, school counselors, paramedics, nurses, doctors, teachers, police, nobody is required to know anything about suicide. It's not part of licensing, certifications, or training.
911, you're supposed to call 911. It's like, well, no, please don't, because you'll get an emergency communications worker who is very well intentioned and is going to do his or her best and is going to follow policies and procedure, which normally is going to mean dispatching police and paramedics perhaps. None of those people necessarily have any training in reducing suicide risk.
The good news is there's movement on all fronts to prevent suicides. In addition to the CDC, Johnson County Mental Health has its own working groups. Washington State now requires training in suicide prevention for most professionals. But the most important thing is that people are talking about suicide, making it okay for people and families to seek help. We need to turn suicide, says Marcia Epstein, into a casserole illness.
Well, if somebody loses somebody to suicide, or somebody's really struggling so intensely, if it was a casserole illness, your friends and family would mobilize and help you. They'd bring you food, they'd bring you stuff you need, they'd spend time with you. That's what suicide prevention should be about, casseroles.
In the last 10 years, suicides have gone up in much of Kansas and Missouri. Indeed, the suicide rate in both states is above the national average. In the metro, we've seen suicides rise 38% in Jackson County in the last 10 years, 38% in Clay County, 50% in Cass County, and 66% in Platte County, although the total numbers of suicides in both Clay and Platte are small. In Wyandotte County, suicides have remained steady over the past decade, averaging about 24 a year. It is worth noting that if you or someone you know has had suicidal thoughts, there is a number to call, 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357, and they'll direct you to a local center where help is available. Well, here's another troubling number. Around 80% of kids in Kansas City are lagging in reading skills, and summertime doesn't help. Young students in poor and underserved areas often come back to school further behind in reading than when they left for summer vacation. Combating this summer slide, or slump as it's come to be called, is a major component of Mayor Sly James' Turn the Page initiative, aimed at helping kids read at grade level by 3rd grade. KCPT's education reporter Lindsay Fote visited a variety of summer literacy programs with the mayor and has this report.
It's like when I read the back, it makes me know what the story is going to be more about.
Veronica Farmer loves to read.
I read a lot of stuff. Walking down the street, I read signs, I read everything. My mama told me to stop reading because I read everything. I even read her mail, her text messages, her email, all that.
Veronica is spending her summer vacation reading books in a church basement as part of Upper Room's summer camp. She'll be in 6th grade this fall. She began the summer reading at a 3rd grade level. According to Mayor Sly James' Turn the Page initiative, only 19% of kids in the Kansas City, Missouri school district are proficient in reading by 3rd grade. And citywide, only 34% of students are on target with their reading.
Okay, let's look at the first part. What's that word? I think that the whole agrarian system of education is outmoded and doesn't need to be in place anymore. Children are better off in a constant learning environment. There is nothing that I can see that is helpful about taking the summer off for kids and their learning. And when we have children in this city, in certain schools or school districts that are behind already, they're not going to catch up that way. You want a kid to catch up when they're behind, then they have to put in more time, not less.
It's common for kids to lose some of what they've learned in school during the summer. But the Turn the Page initiative is partnering with 13 summer learning programs to turn summer slump into a time for gains in literacy. Gregory Smith is the site director for the Upper Rooms Reading Program at Jameson Memorial Temple. The site serves 145 students, grades 1 through 8, who spend their days reading books and then taking quizzes about what they've read.
Our program runs for a total of 8 weeks, and the kids come in at their reading level. We test the kids and get an assessment of where they're at, and then our goal is for 6 months growth throughout the 8-week program.
Keep your hands up if you read your books at home. You all do? How many books a week do you read? Who reads the most books per week? How many do you
So
read?
far, Smith says they're seeing exponential growth.
Wow, that's a lot of books. That means
Another program that reports gains among students is the Kansas City Freedom Schools Initiative. Reverend Darren Faulkner is the executive director and CEO of the initiative, which has 5 sites across the metro serving over 500 kids.
Research suggests that children, particularly in low-income areas or impoverished areas of cities and metropolitan cities across the country, experience a summer lag or a summer learning loss. That makes what we do that more important because we prevent the summer lag. And in fact, we show gains. For a 3rd grader that is reading at pre-primer or the pre-K level of reading, by the time they get to 6th grade, if they continue at the progress that they were on, they'll still be reading at a 3rd grade level. But if they're with us for those 3 years, we can bring them up to grade level by 6th grade.
Programs like these and many more run by schools, libraries, and nonprofits hope to improve literacy rates for students. But it's still not clear what's most effective. That's where Leanne Taylor Knight comes in. She is the executive director of the Kansas City Area Education Research Consortium. Turn the Page KC has commissioned Knight to figure out what works best when it comes to summer learning.
There are a multitude of challenges within the complexity of looking at this in our city's context. One of those begins with having students in different school districts. We don't have a universal reading assessment that's used with every child who is in Kansas City, Missouri. The out-of-school time programs have adopted different reading programs, different reading assessments, so we don't have a universal reading assessment that's used by everyone.
Although wrangling the data of the various reading assessments will be no small feat, Knight says it will lay the foundation for tracking literacy rates citywide. And it will provide a clear picture of the impact of summer learning programs in KC. So far, the results are positive.
We've had some early partnerships piloting with some school district data and some of the out-of-school time programs that are beginning to trend in the right direction of indicating that students who are participating or have participated in these out-of-school time programs are making gains in their reading.
For students like Duronica, those gains can be dramatic. According to the Upper Rooms measurement, she's made an entire school year's worth of progress in just 6 weeks. Reporting on education for KCPT, Lindsay Fote.
It's been almost a year and a half now since classical KXTR changed formats after nearly 50 years on the air, first on FM and then the AM band. But just a few weeks ago, the 4th of July, in fact, Radio Bach USA made a comeback, not as a terrestrial radio station, but one that streams its signal via the internet under the auspices of Johnson County Community College. Patrick Neese, classical music's morning voice in Kansas City for many years, and Emily Behrman, general manager of the Carlson Center, joined me to talk more about this new media partnership and how it came about.
Classical radio just doesn't seem to fit into the corporate template, but that's becoming less and less important because of internet radio. Now it's so easy to listen to any kind of radio anywhere in the world, and it's so easy that terrestrial radio is almost not an issue anymore for listening to whatever you want to listen to.
You two came up with this notion together. How did this JCC connection really take place?
Well, I knew a little while before they changed the format to business that they were going to do it. And I had coffee with Emily after one of our on-air interviews, and we were just chatting, and Emily was very concerned because well, I should let you tell why you were concerned.
Well, having a performing arts connection, obviously, in the city, Radio Buck was very important to promoting our classical programming as well as other things that we do. So that was my first concern. My second concern was for you, and then also about this is a part of our community, and it was going to be gone. So was there a way maybe to pick it up again and take it forward and bring it back?
So have you built, Patrick, a little hutch there somewhere inside Johnson County Community
Well,
College?
this is the great thing about internet radio is it doesn't really require an office or a room with padded walls or whatever.
No, I still might require that.
I don't mean that in the best way possible, but it can really be done anywhere. So as you can listen from anywhere, and then some of the programming and other things can also be done and then put together, and people listening would never realize that, gosh, all of these things are coming from so many different sources.
But the support staff at JCCC is absolutely essential. I mean, they have a fantastic engineering staff that have been terrific. I certainly couldn't do it on my own. Also, with the Carlson Center there, I mean, we're looking down the line, and we're anticipating broadcasting concerts, also engaging the students out at JCCC in various things we want to do. We really want to add a lot to our web content, and the students out there will be critical in that as far as creating video interviews with local arts leaders and that sort of thing. So, JCCC's involvement it couldn't have been better.
Did you feel like you were paddling upstream for a goodly while, Mr. Neese?
Well, Entercom exists to make money. I understand that, and so I can't question their decisions. I do think that there is a huge audience for classical radio, and I think it's been overlooked immensely. When we were moved to AM, at that time, we had a very large audience, and one of the largest in the country. And those people had nowhere to go to after, they cut us loose. I mean, there is some classical on some other local stations that people can go to, but there's no 24-hour, 7-day-a-week classical station. And so we feel that, especially with the ease of listening to internet radio now, that we are going to give those people who really lost, a great source of classical music, they're going to have an opportunity again to get calmed down during their rush hour drive, to calm down before they go to sleep at night, to get charged up in the morning, to just be inspired and invigorated by the music. And as I say, it's so easy to listen to us. A lot of people out there, however, may not have tried internet radio yet.
Especially in the target demographic that I'm assuming a lot of classical music goes to.
Well, you say target demographic, but to me the target demographic is absolutely everybody. So, anybody who loves great music.
And along those lines, I just want to mention at some of our performances in the fall, we're going to kind of do demonstration stations in our lobby so that some of our patrons who may be part of that older target demographic can see what happens on a laptop when you pull up the radio station, that you can listen while you do other things, because that's been a question that's been asked of me. Oh, can I still send email to my granddaughter if I'm listening to Radio Buck? Yes, you can. So just familiarizing people and educating them a little bit, which is kind of what the college will do.
And I must say that in addition to the Carlson Center, the rest of the arts community in Kansas City has been very, very supportive of Radio Buck, and we're looking forward to really giving them a voice and having their input and having them be an integral part of the station.
Did JCCC require a lot of convincing that this is a good idea?
We did kind of have to go forward to one of our trustees committees to get permission to kind of pilot this for 3 years and to see how things go. The college, we're very lucky in that the college does have a lot of built-in resources. Patrick mentioned, people in our IT department that are already you know, servicing an ECAV radio, our student radio station. So a lot of the resources that we've used for Radio Bach were already in place and have been allocated also to this. So going forward with our marketing communications vice president and our vice president of academic affairs, pulling the students into it, going to the trustees and saying, look, we think we can make this go, and if you can support it for this period of time, then we'd like to go out and try to sell advertising and try to raise some private dollars to make it continue after that time has passed. So we were very lucky that they were willing to do that and see that it's relevant to what the college does.
So the 3-year track and get those listeners grabbed up and on board is really the key here?
I think so, and you know, listening to radio on the internet is only going to become more and more prevalent as the years go on. So yeah, I'm very hopeful that Radio Bach will establish itself in the community the way KXTR did, and really become an important part of the arts community.
It's good to have you back in the business. You know?
Well, thank
I think
you.
something felt wrong when Patrick Neese wasn't being heard on the airways. So
well, I hope to have you on the show too.
Maybe able to wander back back into the waves, one kind or another here before long.
Great. Well, it's so nice to have you know, a little role reversal here.
Yeah, that's right.
You didn't grill me the way I used to grill you, so thank you.
Yeah, but you didn't have the tie
Right, yes,
usually,
that's
so
right. That's true.
That may be the difference
That's
maker.
true.
Patrick and Emily, great to have you. Thanks for joining us here
Thank
on
you.
the
Thanks,
Local
Randy.
Show. Remember, you can learn more about the stories you've seen here and the ones you've missed on the web at thelocalshow.org. One of the things we like to do on this program is introduce you to notable folks helping make our community better, safer, more enjoyable. One of those people is Todd Ackerson, Rescue Chief for the Kansas City Fire Department. The chief was honored last month at the Mid-America Regional Council Regional Leadership Awards. Our friends at Phil Media put together this profile.
When you talk about a building collapse, when you talk about fast-moving water rescues, any of the rescues that involve special training, Todd has been the guy that has put that together.
Chief Ackerson has been with Kansas City for 28 years, and in 2005 he took on the responsibility to build this regional technical rescue system. If you are trapped, if you are disoriented, if you are injured and you are expecting to be rescued, you will be best served if Chief Ackerson or if one of Chief Ackerson's trained crews are on their way to assist. So he is a true asset to this community, this region.
He's probably the most competent and well-trained person on technical rescue in the region. Some of the things I think that he does with regards to the technical rescue teams that we've seen him respond is to bring in all these various players from throughout the region to go out and train collectively so that not each department has their own resource, but one they can kind of work collectively on.
We're now at the Kansas City, Missouri Training Center, and this is one of Chief Ackerson's ideas where we were looking for ways to better train our people hands-on. And what he's done with this area in the training center is actually made rubble piles around here where we can practice breaking concrete, drilling concrete, doing search and rescue within the concrete. We have shoring props where the guys can come in and practice putting up shoring on a wall that's leaning. It's as closest to real-world training that you can get.
They're trained, they're ready to go, and they all work together as a team. And that's what's needed in the time of an emergency. You don't need to hear anything other than the team is out there getting it done. And that's what Todd has done a great job of bringing together.
You know, his qualities of calm demeanor under fire and his demand for excellence, not only with equipment, but for every member of his team, coupled with his his patience as an educator, as a mentor, as a trainer, and as a coach, has built some of the best emergency responders in the country.
Chief Ackerson looks at the team concept. He is not just about Kansas City, Missouri. He's about the whole metropolitan area, both in the state of Kansas and Missouri. He takes these 6 teams. There are 3 in Kansas City, Missouri, 1 in Central Jackson County, 1 in Kansas City, Kansas, and 1 in Olathe, Kansas. We're all one. There's no separation at all. There's no state line, county line, city lines. He looks at the big picture. He looks at the big picture and see how things benefit the whole region.
Todd's one of those individuals that can bring everybody together, and say, let's work collectively on this, kind of irrespective of where the problem is. He can be counted upon to respond to that problem and make sure that people are safe.
I guess that's really one of the true definitions of leadership is why you do what you do. And Chief Ackerson truly does what he does for the betterment of the citizens of this region.
And today, Mid-America Regional Council is proud to award to Todd Ackerson the Regional Leadership Award.
And that's it for this edition of The Local Show. We'll see you next week with stories about safety in our schools and Civil War sites you can visit around the region.
The Missouri-Kansas border region is the most consequential border in American history. And therefore, if you're talking about what we call heritage tourism or history travel, people getting in their car and looking for great road trips, this place can hold its own with any other place in the country.
I'm Randy Mason. Thanks for watching.
So how are you guys doing? Books. Looks like maybe a book bag. There you go. Good job.
But
it's essentially the same. So when you're reading this,
Can you speak louder for me? Because I don't think.
Principal funding for The Local Show provided by Francis Family Foundation, Frederick and Louise Hartwig Family Fund, Kaufman Foundation, Healthcare Foundation of Greater Kansas City, Johnson County Community College, John and Effie Spees Memorial Trust, Bank of America trustee, Richard J. Stern Foundation for the Arts, Commerce Bank trustee, and KCPT members. Thank you.